Okay, I have never had to start a video out like this before where I kind of don't even know how I feel about what I just saw. And of course, I am talking about Apple's new Vision Pro headset. They're long awaited, they're long rumored augmented reality headset. They finally announced it, and it looks insane, but it also looks like it could be a total gimmick. Now, yes, WWDC just ended. Apple announced a bunch of other stuff besides this headset. They announced a new 15-inch MacBook Air at like a pretty affordable price point. That was actually way lower than I was expecting it to be. A new Mac Studio, which is great, a new Mac Pro, iOS 17, and all of their new software versions for their platforms like macOS, watchOS 10, right? Like watchOS 10 has a bunch of new improvements and stuff. Looks really cool. But for this video, I want to focus just on Apple Vision Pro. This is definitely I don't know if I want to call it the most exciting, but it's definitely the highlight of the show. This is a whole new product category from Apple. And depending on how you look at it, this could either be the start of an entirely new platform that would eventually replace every single device that Apple currently sells. Yeah, think about that. This is a platform that could replace your iPhone potentially, your Mac potentially, maybe your Apple Watch potentially, and it's an all-in-one thing. It could also be a complete disaster, a complete flop, and really lead to nowhere. And you can kind of see why I'm conflicted with my thoughts right now on how I don't know how to feel, because I could honestly see it going either way based on what Apple announced. And to me, at least, whether this is a flop or whether this is the next big thing, this is definitely the boldest product that I have ever seen Apple release. Like, the promise and the vision of this product is truly revolutionary, mind-blowing, game-changing, will change the way we use computers entirely if, and this is a big if it succeeds. So, let's bring it back a little bit and talk about what this headset is. So, to kind of give you the Cliff Notes version of this, and there's kind of like a lot we don't know because Apple announced this headset and it's not even going to be available to order until the end of this year. And then I believe it's not even coming out until early next year. And even when it does come out early next year, it's only coming out in the United States. So it's not even launching as like a global product. Like, this is going to be a very, very, very limited launch when this thing is out. So there's a lot we don't know here. So you're gonna have to take some fair assumptions here. But basically, Apple's vision for this is a headset. And it has its own Apple design to it. It looks very, very sleek. And, when you first see the headset, it doesn't look too much different than something you would expect out of the plethora of VR headsets available on the market today. So if you look at something like the Meta Quest or the PlayStation VR, the Vive Index, all of those VR headsets, this Apple headset, if you put them all on a table, it wouldn't look that out of place. Yes, it has its own polished Apple design, all that stuff. But yes, you put all these VR headsets on a table, they kind of look similar. But this is not really pitched as a virtual reality headset. When you put this headset on, it is for an augmented reality world. And Apple's augmented reality system that they're delivering this in is called Vision OS. So it's a complete augmented reality world. If you put this headset on, you will see what's ever in front of you. So there's like a whole operating system. It kind of almost looks like you took like the Apple Watch grid view and like kind of like displayed it over here. And then the way you navigate this operating system isn't through any interface or analog interface. So you're not using a mouse, you're not using a keyboard, you're not touching a glass panel to scroll, you're not even using controllers or anything. You are using your body. So let's say like you wanted to select an app. You would look at it. So you see an app, you look at it, and then you pinch your finger. And then there's other gestures and stuff. I think like this to do like a scrolling thing. I'm sure I'm gonna get some of that wrong because it's on the top of my head. But yeah, you can pinch, you can scroll, and you can navigate this user interface all without any kind of like input method. Like you just have your hands, and those are the controls to this system, which is it's insane to think about. And hopefully it works well, because I could see this going wrong in so many ways with this kind of system that's reliant on gesture-based navigation. But, let's take Apple at their word and let's say it works. Really cool stuff, right? And it feels very familiar, even though you're using like a new input method with hand gestures, rather than using like, a touch screen or a mouse and keyboard. You are still kind of interacting with apps that you're used to already. So there's a Messages app, there's a Notes app, there's a Safari web browser, there's FaceTime, right? There's all these apps that you're already used to using on different devices, and they're just there now in this augmented reality world. I could pop up a Messages window here, or I could pop up a Safari window here, or my Photos app here, or a FaceTime call here, and I could see all those windows. I could make them small or make them big, kind of like window resizing on the Mac, and I could kind of dictate how much space they take up in the real world. So I can still see all of my surroundings. And I think that was very interesting and clearly the vision of what Apple was trying to achieve here with this product. I know there's a lot of memes right now on like Twitter and stuff like that saying this is going to make people even more closed off. This is going to make people even more unsociable than they already are, more staring at their devices. But Apple really kind of showed this product off as a device that wouldn't do that. I think they described it best. They said, this is the first Apple product where you see through it rather than look at it. And they definitely demoed it like that. When you think of like a virtual reality headset, it's kind of like a stationary experience. Like you kind of like sit down or you stand up and you try and be as stationary as possible. Maybe you move around like controllers and stuff like that, but like your feet are kind of like planted where they are and you don't really want to move around with it because you'll bump into things. But that's the opposite with this Apple augmented reality headset, this Apple Vision Pro. The Apple clearly showed people walking around in the real world with this headset on and then overlaying things as they were walking around, but they were still interacting with people. They showed like videos of people interacting with their kids, like stopping a soccer ball or grabbing a physical object from someone. Like this is a device that isn't trying to close you off. It's actually trying to maybe enhance like the world around you and kind of get rid of the idea that you would ever need to stare and look at a device and be super closed off or super like not aware of your surroundings. So it's kind of a different mindset. And I wasn't really expecting that. I wasn't expecting how seamless they made it appear on video where you could walk around and not really be hindered from that. And I think that's down to the design, right? So the front of this headset, when you first look at it, is kind of like blacked out. But when you turn it on, people that are looking at it can see your eyes. So if you're in that augmented reality space, they can see your eyes. And I know it is kind of strange because they're not really your eyes, right? Like it's a recreation of your eyes on this display, and it is more human, right? Like you could maybe have like more of an emotional connection when you're staring at someone. You could see their eyes looking back at you, but it is kind of dystopian in a way because that's not actually their eyes. It's a computer screen showing you fake eyes. And it's kind of like, okay, that's a little dystopian, but I get what they're going for here. They're trying to make it as seamless as possible, but there's still limitations, right? Like these are not pure see-through AR glasses. This is still confined in a headset for this Gen 1 product. The technology behind it is really impressive. You have micro OLED displays in there with greater than 4K resolution. So it sounds like basically everything that you can see through this headset is, I'm guessing, going to have like the same effect of like a Retina display where you're not going to be able to see like individual pixels. You're not going to have that screen door effect that you have on AR headsets. And, taking Apple at their word here, it sounds like the image quality for this is going to be insane. The tech specs for this, for image quality, it looks really good. Like even if you bought this thing, and they show this off too, like you can sit down and have like a virtual movie theater experience, and you could, I think they said that you could make the screen as big as like 100 feet, like a giant movie theater screen. It sounds like it's just going to give you like amazing picture quality and simulate being in like an actual movie theater, but you're still at your home. So just on screen technology alone, I think it looks really impressive, but there's all these other sensors and cameras and arrays in there. It's a very, very complicated product to get you into this augmented reality world. And this headset is like really powerful because the battery life on it is kind of bad. Let's be honest. So you're wearing this headset and it has the M2 chip in it, but there's no battery pack in the headset. It's actually attached to a wire, and you put the wire down, you put the battery in your pocket. It's like an aluminum battery, and that battery only lasts for 2 hours. Yeah, just 2 hours. The M2 chip, all of the sensors and cameras and all of the micro OLED displays, all that stuff inside of this headset drains a significant amount of power. And the max battery life you can get while wearing it is 2 hours. Now, yes, you can plug it directly into the wall and get infinite battery life and have more of a stationary experience, but the way Apple pitched this as being an augmented reality device that doesn't disconnect you from the real world, I feel like that 2 hour hard limit for this is really gonna drag it down as a Gen 1 product. And as an augmented reality device, the thing, like the vision that Apple has for the Apple Vision Pro is kind of insane, because if the technology works as promised, and if you can actually overlay these things and the interface is intuitive and easy to use, it looks like a groundbreaking product. It looks absolutely game-changing. It looks mind-blowing. Obviously, I want to use this device and I can't, and there's no way to know if the promise of this device can actually live up to the hype. But if everything pans out, this could be a complete game changer. But it also couldn't. And I wouldn't say I'm worried, but I am interested to see how this device and this platform, because I do believe this is a platform, ultimately plays out. Because I think the biggest shock of this announcement was the price point. This is not going to be for everyone. It's not. This is not going to be the next iPhone for this Gen 1 product, because it's $3,500. It's $500 more expensive than the rumors were suggesting. This is a very expensive product, and it's a Gen 1 product. There's probably going to be a lot of limitations with this device. When you look at it that way, it's kind of easy to think $3,500 for this augmented reality headset with 2 hours of battery life. This thing is going to be dead on arrival. It's going to be a complete flop. No one's going to buy this thing. And that's definitely, like, if someone said that, I wouldn't necessarily say they're wrong. I think that's kind of like a reasonable take. And, you know, as someone who covers Apple, I hear like those takes all the time on like every Apple device. And it's usually like, this person has no idea what they're talking about. They're crazy. But with this, hey, I think that might actually be like a take, and it's not unreasonable. But the way I'm trying to look at this from a positive standpoint is it's a $3,500 product. It has an M2 chip in it. It's basically a Mac with a really advanced screen and camera and sensors and all these things inside of it. Like, if you look at it from the point of view of Mac pricing, $3,500 is still expensive, but it's not crazy. It's not crazy. You look at what Apple sells in the Mac department, right? They sell an M2 Ultra Mac Studio now for $4,000. It's more expensive than this headset. They sell a Mac Pro for $7,000. It's more expensive than this headset. Heck, they sell a $5,000 display, a 32-inch display with no stand for $5,000, right? Obviously, not as advanced as this headset. Maybe not even as good as picture quality, what is offered on this headset if you're just using it as a monitor, as like a big external virtual monitor, because that micro OLED display tech sounds really good. So, yeah, I don't know what to make of this product. All I know is that I really want to try it out, and I think that it's not going to be hugely successful as the first product. But the way I think about it is, you know, this is called Apple Vision Pro. It's pitched for pro users, right? It's not like an Apple product where they start off with Apple Watch or iPhone and there's no pro in it, and eventually they get to that pro branding with like these products. There should be down the line 1 or 2 years or 3 years, however long it takes to get the pricing down for this technology, there should be eventually just an augmented reality headset that isn't labeled pro. And the way I want to think about this product on whether or not it succeeds is, let's run through this example. As of you are watching this, I know a lot of people are upset about that $3,500 price point, and they're like, this is stupid. There's no way I would ever buy this thing. This thing is a failure. I think the way you have to look at it is, after everything you've seen Apple demo on stage today, if this was $1,000, if this was the same price as your iPhone, if they get the price down to $1,000, is this something you would buy? Is this something you're interested in? Is this something you could see yourself using? And if the answer is yes, and I would say that's a yes for me, I think it has the potential to be wildly successful. It has the potential, and I think this is Apple's vision here, to literally replace every device they currently sell. And that is kind of like the future of this device, where I can see it. That's where it gets exciting. And that, I think, is, maybe we just saw the first revolutionary new product out of Apple in quite some time. Or maybe it's a flop. I don't know. But if you look back at Apple's first gen products, like the iPhone, like the Apple Watch, they weren't immediate successes out of the gate. And the way I even look at this new headset isn't even looking at it like the first iPhone. I kind of look at it more like the first personal computers. I think we have a long roadmap ahead of us, and I don't think this is going to be a huge success in 1 year or 2 years or 5 years. I think this is the foundation of what will eventually be successful in the next decade or the next 15 years. The technology for this is going to have to get more affordable. It's going to have to get more streamlined. The battery life's going to have to get way better, right? Like, the technology for this is going to have to improve on every single metric. Metrics we can't even comprehend right now with the current technology. Kind of like when you go back and look at the first iPhone, you think about how limited that device was, and you look at where phones are today after, 15 years of development, and you go, wow, it's crazy how advanced they are. The same thing has to happen to this headset. It is not a perfected device. We are back at stage 0 for this device. This is stage 0. We got to get to stage 1, stage 2, stage 3, stage 4. And as someone who reviews technology, the fact that this is, let's be honest, a flawed device at launch is kind of exciting. Who knows where this goes? Who knows what the possibilities of this platform are? It's a big open question right now. And I think that's super exciting. I don't know how you can't think that isn't exciting unless you just do not believe in this product one single bit. But yes, I'm sorry if this was a confusing video. I'm sorry if it was a jumbled mess, but I wanted raw reactions because it's not every day Apple releases a new product. It's not every day we get a whole new product category. And it's not every day that Apple, I think, just released their boldest product ever. But yeah, let me know in the comments. Like, I didn't even get to tell you that this thing can take pictures, and it's like a 3D, I don't know. I haven't used this device, so how do I know how this actually looks? They're just kind of showing you demos of virtual screens, but they said you can take 3D pictures and videos. And the way I'm thinking about it is you take a 3D picture of your dog doing something, and then when you go to replay it on the headset, you replay it in that same environment, or you replay it like your dog is there in this augmented reality world. You could see your dog in front of you, you could see your kid in front of you, or your person in front of you. You could see relatives in front of you. That technology right there alone for that camera, I don't know how it works, but if it works as I think it does, where you can see a 3D version of it, that's insane. That's cool. I don't know how else to say it. My excitement got the best of me there. I was about to end the video, and I just remembered another thing this thing could do. Anyway, if you like this video, give me a like. If you want more coverage of WWDC, there's so much more to announce, so many more practical things that people are actually going to buy that I got to cover. So get subscribed. And yeah, I'll probably make another video about this device in the future because this was just a jumbled mess. But I'll see you in the next one. Take care, everybody.